Is Jasmine pregnant by me? I wouldn't know, okay? That's number one. Number two, y'all with this cheater. Help me out. Where was I in a restaurant or something with a girl? Was I in a club? I mean, that's 9 years ago. Number one. Number two.
When Kirk Frost finally speaks, the internet is ablaze, and I can assure you that he is not holding back. Kirk has had enough of being called a cheater for years, being accused of innumerable things, and having his name tarnished by supporters. In a startling, uncensored tirade, he challenges everyone who has ever accused him of being unfaithful and demands proof. And you know what? The whole hip-hop and love communities have been rocked by his remarks. However, this isn't just Kirk refuting the rumors. Here is where things get even more bizarre. Oh no, he's defensive, angry, and blaming others this time. He challenges those who are criticizing him in a direct, emotionally charged moment, hurling insults and revealing information that no one anticipated. Fans are split. Some think he's finally coming clean, while others think he's just getting into more trouble. As well as Rashida, well, her response might make all the difference. What is actually happening then? Has Kirk always been wrongfully accused, or is this just another last-ditch effort to clear his name? Stay tuned as we break down every detail, every response, and every unexpected turn in this fascinating story. This is a video that you should not miss. Tension is evident as Kirk Frost's world falls apart. Kirk, the infamous love and hip-hop performer, is responding to the adultery accusations that have damaged his reputation for years in a startling new video that has gone viral online. He has finally had enough after months of being watched, attacked, and demonized by both the media and fans. He shares his side of the tale at this point, using unadulterated language and unrefined passion. Kirk sits in front of the camera at the start of the clip, his face clearly stressed as he inhales deeply before speaking. His voice is heavy with annoyance, as though he has been gradually being choked by the charges. He asks, almost daring anyone to question him, "Is Jasmine pregnant by me?" All right, I wouldn't know. That's number one. The question's casual tone instantly takes viewers by surprise. In front of millions of fans, Kirk has been embroiled in a scandal involving Jasmine Blue, a lady he had a turbulent affair with at a difficult time in his marriage to Rashida. Jasmine had a kid as a result of the affair, and the child's paternity has been the subject of much discussion. Now the audience feels chilled by Kirk's casual rejection of it. By arguing that the situation might not be as straightforward as people believe, he is contesting the narrative that fans have been exposed to for a very long time. As he waits for his audience to respond, the camera lingers on his face, his eyes penetrating the screen. Where had I gone? He goes on, growing increasingly irritated. What are we discussing here? Was I in a club or anything with a girl? Was I in a restaurant? Kirk's tone is derisive, as though he finds it hard to comprehend that the charges against him are still being made. He appears frustrated, as though he has endured this ordeal for too long. It becomes evident as the film progresses that Kirk is resisting the portrayal of him as a callous cheater. He states, "Canon is 9 years old now," alluding to the son he and Rashida had. His words are laced with a mixture of defensiveness and regret, as if he's attempting to persuade himself and the audience that his actions weren't as horrible as they appeared. Number one. Number two, my bad. Yeah, I messed up during the time me and my wife were off. We weren't even with each other for like a year. This claim is significant because it implies that Kirk was not, in theory, cheating if he and Rashida were not together when he was seeing Jasmine. However, rather than bringing clarity, this revelation is certain to cause further confusion. For a long time, many thought Rashida was caught off guard by the affair, but Kirk is now saying that their relationship was already in trouble. There is no doubt that this revised account of events will cause controversy and rekindle the intense discussions among viewers. But the more Kirk says, the more it sounds like he's attempting to change the past. I gotta tell you all my business because you mother ers just love saying cheater, 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 he yells. His voice is piercing and aggressive, as though he is tired of being judged and scrutinized by the media all the time. He seemed to want to steer the story in order to at last clear his name and show the world that he wasn't as horrible as many believe. However, he creates more questions than he solves in the process. The contradictions in his story are immediately pointed out by fans. Wait a second, so now you're saying you and Rashida weren't together when all of this happened? A commentator asks. Fans are upset with Kirk's attempt to defend his behavior by implying that he and Rashida were split up. But that's not what Rashida said. She was distraught. What's going on here? They recall Rashida's devastated responses upon learning the truth about the affair. Rashida's public expressions of anguish and betrayal are not consistent with this new storyline. But Kirk isn't going to back down. He intensifies his charges. You'll think Rashida is so dumb, and Kirk is so dumb, and he's just a cheater, he continues, as his voice becomes more irate. He says, where the are the women I'm cheating with? Help me out. As though he's trying to prove that he's not the villain his fans have painted him as. However, by requesting that others help him out, he simply serves to further elucidate the enigma surrounding his adultery. This reaction isn't helping him if he really wants to clear his name. The anger erupts in the comment section. Is it our collective responsibility to forget the entire hot tub incident? One spectator mockingly remarks, "That never happened, right?" alluding to the notorious incident in which Kirk and Jasmine were caught in a compromising circumstance. One of the most talked about events in the whole Love and Hip Hop series is the hot tub incident. Kirk's attempt to minimize it simply serves to stoke the flames, since fans will never forget it. Kirk replies, mockingly dismissing the past, "Excuse me, oh, I was in the hot tub? My bad." He sounds contemptuous, as though the details that have plagued him for years don't matter to him anymore. However, this simply serves to further alienate fans. It appears that he is not accepting responsibility for the harm he caused because of his attempt to minimize his previous behavior. His actions in this video appear to support fans' long-standing accusations that he is irresponsible and uncaring. You can feel Kirk's annoyance now. He shouts, "You mother ers are crazy," and slams his hand against a table nearby. His voice trembles as he looks straight into the camera, his rage leaking out. "Stop playing with me. Stop playing with my family. Enough is enough." He appears to have reached a breaking point, and it becomes increasingly obvious that his relationships are on the verge of disintegrating the more he talks about it. It is unclear to the audience whether this would be the last straw that ends Kirk and Rashida's marriage. There is more to this video than a simple apology or an effort to correct the record. It's Kirk's final attempt to take charge of the story and save his reputation. He wishes to clarify that he is not the evil that everyone thinks he is. However, the issue still stands. Will this movie improve the situation, or will it have the opposite effect? Kirk Frost's tirade goes on, and with each second that goes by, the rage in his voice gets louder. He has been suppressing his intense emotions for years in a never-ending battle to protect himself, but he can no longer conceal them. He has been torn apart by the media, fans, and internet, and he is tired of acting as like it has no bearing on him. He feels as like the walls are closing in on him as a result of all the accusations made against him, and he is aware that this may be his final opportunity to correct the record. The video is more than just a defense. It is a burst of emotion. In an attempt to convince the world, and himself, that he is not the villain that everyone thinks him to be, Kirk begins to pace his living room in an obviously disturbed manner. As he starts to describe the years of pain he has suffered as a result of these rumors, his face flushes with frustration and his voice becomes more intense. "Where are the women I'm allegedly having an affair with?" Kirk says it again, raising his voice. "Why don't you guys show me these women? Where is the proof that I cheated, as you claim? You all make up stories because you really want me to cheat. Quit." Kirk is clearly experiencing emotional difficulty as the camera trembles a little. His eyes are blazing with rage and his hands are balled into fists. This goes beyond his prior transgressions. It concerns the ongoing verdict he has been subjected to and the years-long public trial. His marriage, his honesty, and his bond with his children, the fundamental foundation of his character, have all been assaulted. And now that his marriage to Rashida is in danger, everyone's wondering if this is the final straw for Kirk and Rashida. Kirk fiercely defends himself, his rage still boiling up. So you want to accuse me of being unfaithful? Where is the evidence? Show me. I'm holding out. Tell me where I was, what I was doing, and who I was with. No one has the receipts, but everyone has something to say. He virtually begs for someone to give him an opportunity to explain himself, and his voice falters. He seems to have fallen into a trap and is unable to break free from the role that the public has assigned him. After years of viewing the Love and Hip Hop series, fans are increasingly doubting Kirk's intentions. They recall the startling events that have transpired on the show, including the hot tub mishap, the infidelity scandal, the rumors concerning Jasmine's child's DNA test, and the innumerable public arguments. Through the highs and lows of his journey with Rashida, they have witnessed it all. However, Kirk is now making people view him differently with this most recent outburst. Rashida, what about her? One fan raises the topic that fans have been anticipating in their comment on the video. What about her feelings? She has been harmed by you numerous times. Is that something you simply ignore? As Kirk reads the comment, the question remains unanswered. For a minute, his expression relaxes, but then his eyes harden again, and he becomes frustrated. He laughs incredulously. Rashida, what about her? He responds. She is aware of the reality. She is aware of what took place. We've had highs and lows. We've experienced problems. But my wife is like that. You want me to give an explanation for what transpired years ago? Absolutely not. You guys had better respect her name as well. As he discusses Rashida, his voice erupts with passion. His voice carries genuine suffering. He is now discussing his family and marriage rather than the rumors and charges. Although Kirk is aware that the public's opinion of him has changed, it is evident that he still has faith that his relationship with Rashida will endure. However, the harm can be too severe to fix. He recalls the difficulties his marriage has experienced, and despite his outburst, there is an undercurrent of melancholy in his tone. It's been difficult to deal with the stress, the betrayals, and the public humiliation. Being a reality TV celebrity has made it nearly difficult for Kirk to keep his private life out of the public eye, despite his best efforts for years, and the audience has seen it all happen as his marriage to Rashida has been put to the test repeatedly. Fans are starting to understand that Kirk is battling to keep his marriage intact, not only to clear his name. However, his story's flaws are starting to show. Supporters start analyzing the contradictions in his story and contrasting them with Rashida's account of events. Although the public has always been aware of the complexity of their relationship, they are now beginning to question why Kirk cheated in the first place if he was so determined to keep his marriage intact. Was it a desperate attempt to save something that was already damaged, or was there truly love? You keep saying that you weren't actually dating Rashida, but what about all the times you confessed your love for her in front of the cameras? That commentator is spot on. Then why did you not tell her the truth? In the comment area, this question ignites a heated discussion. Fans fight back and forth, with some supporting Kirk and others pointing out that his relationship has been destroyed as a result of his activities. However, the issue still stands. Has Kirk already ruined his marriage too much, or is this video really his final chance? Kirk's expression changes as he hears the criticism on the internet. He is obviously beginning to feel the effects of the criticism, which is weighing heavily on him. The more he says, the clearer it is that this is a call for atonement rather than merely a defense of his behavior. You all want to accuse me of cheating, but where is the evidence? Where is the truth? With a low, almost begging voice, he replies, "You guys are judging me without knowing everything." As he reveals that his relationship with Rashida has always been complex, his emotional collapse continues. We faced challenges, but we've always overcome them. Kirk confesses, "We've battled for our marriage," his voice breaking. "Yes, I did make some mistakes. I'm not a villain, even though I made a mistake. You people portray me as a monster, but I'm not. I am a human." His voice's vulnerability stands in stark contrast to the rage that has been the driving force behind his tirade thus far. This is Kirk Frost in all his unadulterated glory. He is a man attempting to rescue his family from the devastation caused by his previous choices. He is more than just a reality TV personality. The world then recognizes him for what he really is, a man with flaws and imperfections who is trying to find atonement in a society that wants him to fail. However, one thing becomes more and more obvious in spite of his attempts to defend himself. The harm might be irreversible. Rashida has already witnessed Kirk's shortcomings, therefore it remains to be seen if she would be able to forgive him. And as the drama around Kirk Frost intensifies, the public waits on the edge of their seats, wondering if Kirk has pushed his family too far or if his marriage will survive this. Fans and even Kirk's family members are starting to comment on the matter as his video continues to gain popularity, so it's not just his feelings that are being examined. Every word Kirk says seems to create a fresh can of worms, and the entire Frost family is under scrutiny. His personal life is being torn apart by what started out as a private dispute between him and Rashida and is now turning into a public spectacle. Both pity and contempt are abundant in the comments area beneath Kirk's video. He is receiving support from some supporters who say they are aware of the difficulties of marriage and the potential for blunders. But others are less tolerant. They have witnessed Kirk's repeated errors, public apologies, and media uproar over his actions. They've had enough of excuses. "Kirk, you keep saying you're sorry, but nothing changes. According to one comment, you consistently commit the same errors. When will you be an adult?" Kirk is obviously feeling the weight of the public's opinion on his shoulders, and the pressure is growing. However, he makes it plain that he will not allow the charges to define him by doubling down rather than compromising. His subsequent retort is specifically aimed at Jasmine, the lady at the core of his previous adultery scandal. Want to include Jasmine in this? With a hint of rage in his voice, Kirk asks, "Do you believe that I have been lying about everyone? Let's discuss her. Let's discuss the actual facts." He stops, breathing heavily, as though he's getting ready for a storm. "I was in a terrible situation while we were dealing with Rashida. We parted ways. However, isn't it not the complete story? Why do people believe Jasmine's version of events so quickly?" His remarks are scathing, accusatory, and directed specifically at Jasmine, who had earlier claimed that he was the father of her kid. Kirk believes that everything about this event has been exaggerated. Kirk is committed to exposing the truth, no matter how tangled it becomes, even when the public only sees the side that supports their story. What about Jasmine's attempt to use that infant as a trap? His voice rising, he asks. "She was aware of my marriage. She was aware of the circumstances. However, we shouldn't discuss it, shall we? Let's simply make me the bad guy." Social media is rocked by the audacity of his remarks. His directness astounds fans. Given that he has been implicated in multiple cheating scandals, how could he publicly accuse Jasmine of attempting to deceive him? As even some of Kirk's most ardent followers start to doubt if he is speaking the truth, the gap between him and his detractors widens. Kirk, however, is adamant about sticking to his principles despite the online uproar caused by his remarks. He has had enough of being the victim. His irritation appears to show in every word he says, and his rage reaches new heights. "I'm not claiming to be flawless, but I'm not a monster, darn it. I'm not the cheater that everyone believes me to be. I adore my spouse. Although I've made mistakes, I'm working to correct them." The camera pans in on Kirk's face as his voice breaks, revealing the emotional toll that the whole situation is having on him. The self-assured, charismatic character that viewers have become accustomed to on Love and Hip Hop is now a man who is reaching his breaking point. No matter how hard he tries, he cannot escape the fact that his personal life has been made public and that his decisions are tearing him apart. He tries to regain his calm by hastily wiping away the tears from his eyes. He is now protecting his family in addition to himself. He can no longer stand the idea of losing Rashida and everything. Rashida, what about her? He goes on, his tone a little softer. She has supported me no matter what. We've experienced a lot. Yes, we have had challenges, but we have always collaborated to overcome them. She is not flawless, but neither am I. Both of us have made mistakes. We're still battling for each other though, darn it. However, this vulnerable phase is short-lived. His rage comes back as fast as it came. You guys expect me to be flawless, but I'm not. We're not. All of us are merely attempting to survive the chaos and get by in this world. Therefore, please don't treat me like I'm a bad person because I committed mistakes. Kirk's annoyance peaked at that very moment. He is begging for understanding in addition to defending his honor. However, the truth is that his reputation has been destroyed. The public appears intent on keeping him in the character of the cheater, regardless of how many times he clarifies himself. He comes across as a man who is losing control because of his emotional outbursts, hostile deflections, and attempts to shift the blame elsewhere. The more he says, the more fans start to doubt his intentions, and his credibility is being undermined. A brief footage of Rashida. No background, only one sentence. Additionally, the internet goes crazy. The comments appear instantly. She is abandoning him. It's finished. Rashida is at last selecting herself, something I never imagined I'd see the day of. It's about time if this is the end. She is worthy of better. However, Kirk, he doesn't think it's finished. In an attempt to find a solution, he begins contacting their mutual friends. In an attempt to utilize their show as a platform to demonstrate his love and dedication for Rashida, he even gets in touch with love and hip-hop producer Mona Scott Young. Rashida, however, doesn't answer. Kirk then takes an unexpected action. He uploads one last video, but it's unlike any other he's ever posted. He's not complaining or offering justifications. He's merely chatting. Rashida, he says in an emotionally charged voice, I just want you to know that I'm sorry if you're watching this. For everything, I apologize. For each error, for each falsehood, for each instance in which I caused you to doubt yourself when you ought to have been questioning me. Fans are taken aback. After years of denying, evading, and rationalizing himself, Kirk Frost is now publicly acknowledging his mistake. He goes on, I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't think you'll bring me back. I simply want you to know that I adore you. I always have. And I always will. For the first time in his public life, Kirk Frost appears really hurt as tears well up in his eyes. However, the true query still stands. Is it too late? After watching the footage, Rashida doesn't immediately react. Instead, she remains silent, which sends supporters into a whirlpool of conjecture. Is she thinking about pardoning him, or is she permanently gone? The argument continues. Some people think Kirk genuinely regrets everything he has done, and that his apology is sincere. Some people are not persuaded. One comment reads, he's only sorry because he thinks he's losing her. Another says he ought to have recognized what he had before discarding everything. As the days stretch into weeks, Rashida continues to avoid public comment. Then, for the first time in a long time, she is seen out and about, grinning, laughing, and appearing truly pleased. She is also not sporting her wedding band. The message is really obvious. However, the tale doesn't stop there. There are rumors that Rashida has been speaking with attorneys. According to some accounts, she is secretly preparing to proceed with a divorce. Others claim that before making a choice, she is giving it some serious thought. Kirk, too. He continues to have hope. In his last post, he admits, I know I messed up. However, I will not abandon my family. Rashida is not someone I'm giving up on. Will Rashida, however, give up on it? And there's it, one of the most significant relationship turbulences that Kirk Frost and Rashida have ever encountered. The public apologies, the allegations, the meltdowns, and now the most important issue of all. Is this really the end? Has Rashida hit her breaking point at last? Or does Kirk have a chance to correct the situation before it's too late? There's no denying that supporters are polarized. Rashida should finally leave and never look back, according to some, while others think Kirk is genuinely sorry and deserves one last chance. However, what are your thoughts? Is this another desperate attempt to maintain face, or is Kirk truly apologetic this time? Is it time for Rashida to move on permanently, or should she forgive him? We need to hear your opinions, so please share them in the comments section below. Additionally, be sure to click the subscribe button and enable notifications if you want to be informed about this ongoing drama. If there's one thing we've learned about Kirk and Rashida, it's that their journey is far from over. I promise you won't want to miss what happens next. Additionally, please remember to like and share this video with your friends if you liked this in-depth look at the drama. We'll be back with the most recent celebrity scandals, behind-the-scenes information, and more startling updates. This tea is only beginning, so until the next time, pay attention, keep an eye on everything, and be prepared. Who has been watching the entire event from the comfort of her own home is seen in the video. As she sits on the couch, her expression unreadable, the tension in the room is evident. She's heard it all before. Kirk's passionate appeals, his apologies, and his accusations. However, it never seems to change. Fans are eager for Rashida's response and have been waiting for it. Everyone is wondering if Rashida will stick by Kirk or if he has pushed her too far this time. The tension is high. The camera focuses on Rashida's eyes as her face stays composed, revealing the doubt she is no longer able to conceal. What is she thinking about? One admirer comments, anticipating her answer. This time, will she forgive him? Or is this the last one? Rashida says nothing as the video keeps getting views and the comment section erupts in real time. Even though she hasn't spoken, her silence is very telling. The fans are aware that she will eventually have to reply, and when she does, it might be the last straw for Kirk's reputation. Kirk starts to relax as the film goes on, his rage fading as the gravity of the situation begins to sink in. As he concludes his tirade, he inhales deeply, his eyes lowered, and his voice wavers. I'm working on improving, but I'm not perfect. I'm attempting to mend what I damaged. I just want an opportunity to prove myself. Please. But despite his cries for forgiveness, the fact is that Kirk Frost no longer controls how the public views him. Despite its messiness, the truth has been revealed. Rashida and the supporters must now determine if Kirk's apology is sufficient to undo the harm that has been done. The internet is already on fire because to Kirk Frost's outburst, but the big storm is only getting started. Throughout an attempt to uncover the truth hidden beneath his rage, fans are dissecting every word, sentence, and little pause throughout his tirade. However, Rashida is suddenly receiving more attention than Kirk. What is she going to say? What will she say? The entire world is observing, anticipating, and making assumptions. Then it occurs. At long last, Rashida speaks up. She never goes live. She doesn't post anything grandiose. Rather, she merely posts a video of herself sitting in her house and looking directly into the camera. Her eyes are filled with a profound, overpowering tiredness that is devoid of any rage, yelling, or theatricality. She says, "I've seen the video," in a composed voice that carries a sense of finality. To be completely honest, I'm at a loss for words. Supporters see right away that this isn't the same as before. Regardless of how many times Kirk has failed her, Rashida has always been the one who stands up for her marriage and continues to believe in him. However, something is different this time. Although it's not loud, there is pain in her voice. She goes on to say, "I've spent years trying to be the bigger person, trying to forgive, trying to rebuild trust. It's also draining. The internet explodes. Within minutes, comments start pouring in. She's finished. The calm before the storm is here. You can tell she's over it because she's not even angry anymore." Kirk, meanwhile, is observing, and for the first time, his fear is evident. The typical swagger and haughtiness are no longer present. He is no longer the man who uses social media to defend himself. He is now merely a man who understands that he may have lost the one person who has supported him throughout everything. However, he isn't yet prepared to give up. Kirk makes another post, but his tone is different this time. This time, he sounds desperate rather than defensive or angry at supporters. "I understand," he adds in a softer tone than before. "This woman has endured so much from me, more than anyone ought to have to endure, and I'm aware that I don't merit another opportunity. I can't just leave, though. I can't let my family go." For the first time, Kirk has openly admitted the seriousness of his errors without attempting to defend them. Fans take note. Another user remarks, now he wants to act remorseful. He is just concerned because he believes she is finally going to go. He ought to have considered all of this before making her feel uncomfortable. Rashida, however, says nothing. She ignores Kirk's expression of regret. There's no sign that she's even thinking about forgiving him this time. And that quiet, it's more audible than anything she could have spoken. As the days pass, the conjecture only intensifies. Rashida's every step is scrutinized by paparazzi. Is her wedding band still on? Does she hang around with Kirk? Does she post mysterious content? Then, as everything is starting to calm down, Rashida does something unexpected. Some things can't be fixed, she writes in a straightforward piece. Additionally, some people never change. That's all, no justification.